light the beam, because we're back. It's time for Nerdy for 30, podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name, Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. The Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the people's champ, Tim Keck.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
Oh boy, we are back talking about the Fantastic Four First Steps. Listeners to our previous episode may have heard Tim starting to come for it right at the end. Tim, let's go right into it. What do you have to say about this one?
I can't help but compare and contrast Superman and the Fantastic Four.
They're so similar.
Yes, they're very similar. And Superman traditionally hasn't done it for me. I'm not always a big Superman fan. He's a pretty uninteresting character, in my opinion. I know Superman fans, I'm an idiot, whatever. I don't get it.
Jerry Seinfeld's going to be pissed.
Superman doesn't do it for me. Yeah, well, we have a lot of things to be pissed off about Jerry Seinfeld for.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four also, I got to admit, not one of my favorite things. It's never really done it for me. I don't necessarily love the comics. I've just always been a little... they've just never captivated me the way X-Men, Avengers, etc. have. Superman came out, and that's the best Superman movie I've ever seen. I enjoyed hanging out with that Superman. I still don't know if I'm excited about the Fantastic Four after watching this. I don't know if this changed my mind about anything. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited to see them again.
Really?
Yeah. Before this, I was like, I can't wait to see them with the Avengers. And now I was kind of like, after the movie, I was like, well, we tried.
Oh my God.
We gave it a shot. We gave it a shot.
Oh, man.
I want to do this at the end, but I kind of want to start with this. Fantastic Four. Do you like hanging out with any of these characters?
These specific versions of the four, or these characters in general?
This movie, in the Fantastic Four movie that we both just watched, First Steps. Do you like hanging out with any of the characters in this movie?
I like this version of Reed a lot. I really do. I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, thank God they made millennial anxiety riddled Reed, which is an interesting way. You know, he's the world's best thinker. What happens when he's overthinking all the time? I like the take. As an anxious person, I appreciated the representation. I think this version of Sue is still the best version of Sue we've gotten. I don't think I have great faith that I will really want to hang out with this crew. I think this is like a really uneven movie. It feels like the original cut for this movie was like 7 hours long, and then they cut it down. This straight up feels like it was an entire Disney Plus show that they cut down to one movie. So I wonder how much we lost, like how much just fun time hanging out we lost. Because the little bits that we got, I thought had promise, but it felt kind of rushed in those scenes to me. And
yeah,
it's, generally speaking, we talked about this last week. I think it's cool that both Superman and Fantastic Four didn't spend a ton of time with origin stories and dropped us into worlds in media res where it's already happening. But I do think of the two of them, Fantastic Four is a much more uneven movie. The highs were unbelievably high and the lows were so fucking low, dude. You might notice that I did not mention either the Thing or the Human Torch. I think there were a couple moments where the Human Torch was fun, but that scene where he was trying to chastise the Silver Surfer was painful, Tim. That's one of the worst scenes the MCU has ever done, I think. That was really bad.
They have somehow made Joseph Quinn charmless. I loved him in Stranger Things. They cut the hair, they took his mojo. They dyed him blonde and gave him a bowl cut. But not like
the cut's bad, dude.
Not a full bowl cut. It's a bowl cut, but with a tiny bowl.
Yeah.
It's like a very small bowl. It's like 2 up on his head. It's like what Courtney Cox had in Scary Movie, what is it, 3?
Oh my God, yeah.
Got the like no bangs.
Yeah.
That's what he's and he's blonde. Why is he blonde? He doesn't need to be blonde. Why are they making this guy? I mean, you're following up Chris Evans. One of the hottest people to ever walk the earth, in my opinion. He's jacked out of his mind. He's ripped. He's doing scenes where he's falling in snow, skiing with like the nurses or whatever. And then they all get naked in this hot tub that he just made with him. You know, he is a seductive, hot, attractive man. And you clip the wings on this unique looking guy and just made him a weirdo. And he doesn't have anything fun to do. What does he do in the movie? He's obsessed with language. The thing makes a joke.
Call.
The thing makes a joke that he can't even speak English correctly, and yet he's able to decipher all of these alien languages. Also, with the fate of the world on the line, just give it to Reed. Reed could solve this problem for all of us in a day. He can take one day and decipher the entire Silver Surfer's language now that they have that grid. Like, that's enough. He makes a machine. I bet it doesn't even take that long. I bet an hour he could decipher an entire language.
That plot line sucked, dude. That is like, I that's one where the more I think about it, the madder I am. And like, for everything, we will hopefully get to this. I absolutely adored so much of this movie. There's so much in this movie that I really, really love. And then I keep thinking about things like that plot line. And it's like, how did this squeak through?
The Human Torch, there's nothing super interesting about the Human Torch. There is a shot where Human Torch takes off and flies and the camera follows him. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. That's neat. It feels like we're flying with the Human Torch. And then I actually saw that first. And then I saw Superman. And then Superman was like, oh, no, this is way better. They're just flying. The flying is so much cooler in Superman.
Wait. I got a pitch for you. So there's a fleeting moment in this where they are showing them preparing for the shuttle launch that gives them those powers in the first place. And in that moment, it's kind of suggested that the Human Torch might be a little camera shy back before he has powers, or at the very least just isn't comfortable with, like, the media being around in general. I guess that is camera shyness, but I could see a more interesting version of this character if he was really shy before he got his powers, and then after he got the powers, really like lost himself to the fame and the celebrity and becoming like this hotshot. Because that is a very real story arc. We've seen that happen to reality TV stars a million times at this point. And I think that would be a really interesting take on it. But I do not think that is 100% what they went for with this guy.
He's not cocky. That's like the Human Torch's whole thing, isn't it? Like talking down to everybody and being condescending.
Yeah. And I mean, basically he's, literally and metaphorically a hothead. So like he will act before he thinks. The closest they get to displaying that here is him shooting off to see the Silver Surfer when he knows he doesn't have that much oxygen left in his suit. And when they're locking down the Baxter building, but he's already escaped to go try to handle this thing on his own. Like, those two things rang true for the Torch character to me, but
also
in general,
Reed sent
this
him
whole
in.
language thing, dude.
There was something, the Silver Surfer comes and he goes, Johnny, and Johnny just takes off and goes and gets it. And like, that seems to be his role, is he just goes and chases these things down. So nobody was like, wait, Johnny, he just took off, but it's not like they didn't want him to take off. It's not like they felt strongly about it either way. He's not cocky. He's not confident. He really wants to go to space.
Yeah.
He wants new suits so they can go to space. Why, Johnny? Why does Johnny want to go to space? So he can learn more space languages? They didn't say that in the entire movie. No. There's no reason. He has a standing 2:15 meeting with Reed every week where he tries to convince him to go back to space. And they also have a spaceship that's ready to go and just takes off, flies, no problem. They have a docking system in space that flies through light speed. They've never tested this before. So you're saying they had their accident and just haven't been back in space on this incredible space shuttle since then? No one else has gone up? Reed hasn't piloted up there and taken someone else for a joyride? Like, nobody's been using this. This shuttle's just been sitting there since they came back for like 3 years or whatever it was, 4 years. I don't get the Human Torch at all. Like, describe, what does the Human Torch like to do?
Well, clearly,
does he like women? Does he like dating? Does he play sports? Is he into anything? Like, what does he do? What does he do in his spare time?
Not this version, man. It's weird because like we do get glimpses, like I said, where it's like, oh, this is a fun moment for the character where it's stupid, but when they're in the spaceship and the thing and the Human Torch are kind of having a Han Solo and Luke Skywalker moment, that's fun. That's a really good time. When they start to kind of bicker with each other and throw cereal at each other, it's a clunky intro to that sequence, but the idea of the two of them being childish with each other while Reed and Sue are more grown up, that's a fun family dynamic. But outside of those two moments, I don't know that we really got that much. The reason that I didn't bring up the thing yet either, weirdly enough, for as for as weird as the take on the Human Torch was in this movie, I think the take on the Thing was even worse. He's
It's
so
bad.
stoic. Eben Moss-Bachrach is a really good actor. I don't know that he's really done a lot of like motion capture stuff or voiceover. So I don't know that he was heightening enough to make it through the CGI. There's a certain degree. If you look at Michael Chiklis, weirdly enough, I think Michael Chiklis in the 2005 The Thing or Fantastic Four is kind of the gold standard for The Thing, where he knows he has like 45 pounds of prosthetics on himself. And so he dials it way up to make it through, and it works. It reads.
He walks heavy.
Yeah.
He like takes up more space. And this Thing is kind of just like a normal guy.
He's so quiet, and he's
got
so
a sweater vest on. He's just trying really hard to be a normal person. But also, is he tormented by the fact that he looks like this? I guess they're alluding to the fact that he doesn't like the way he looks.
I mean, maybe, but they don't bring it home. It's one of those things where it's left in a gray area, and that is a sin, dude. You need to amplify that. It's like,
but there's no payoff.
Right. Well,
it's not like
absolutely.
I mean, in the other movies, they've done a thing where he like becomes human and then chooses to become the Thing again.
Sure.
Right? So
which
in
is,
this,
a big storyline for him, but
there's
I don't think you always have to do that.
There's no payoff to him being self-conscious about himself. There's no satisfying ending.
Right.
So they don't even delve into that at all.
We didn't even really get into the stuff with Natasha Lyonne, which again,
and people are excited to see him. Also, what is up with the Thing going to his old neighborhood all the time? He lives in this futuristic tower, and this dude's grocery shopping down the street. There's got to be better groceries in this space tower they're in. Like, why is he down there? He just goes around and they're like, hey, where are you? Where'd you grow up? He's like, that apartment right there. So he just walks down there and just like stands around and picks up a car for a kid and puts it down. Why is he spending all of his spare time there? Does he talk to people? Does he have friends? What is he doing down there? Is he playing cards with somebody? Is he throwing the football? Is he like going to the schools? Is he talking to the kid? The kids love him. Everyone in the neighborhood loves him. Nobody is like, oh, gross, the Thing. Yeah. Which is this girl that he's talking to. She at no point is she like, oh, gross, the Thing. Natasha Lyonne comes in as a breath of fresh air, like a little bit of personality poking through this bland malaise of a film. And the Thing can't even work up the courage to talk to her, or like all this stuff. And it's like, why are you not confident? Everybody freaking loves you, dude. You're a hero. Yeah. Nobody has made fun of your appearance once in this. So why are you self-conscious about it? If anything, I would flip that with the Torch. What if the Human Torch doesn't have the courage to ask someone out? That's like a subversion of the Human Torch we've seen. What if we see him before he becomes cocky? And then during the movie, he becomes cocky.
Especially if the public perception of him is his cockiness. The same way that this is based in an alternate 60s. The same way that they were so hyped up on Beatlemania, and with any of these like boy bands, it's like the teen magazine would come out that'd be like, this is the shy one. This is the ladies' man, all that kind of stuff. If he's framed publicly as the ladies' man, but is really
the
shy
hothead,
and then has to be able to like reconcile that within himself, there's some dramatic irony. That's interesting to watch. That, I think, is the biggest problem with this movie, which is that they just don't have time. They were aware when making this movie that this is the only movie they're going to get with the Fantastic Four in this setting. And I think they tried to do like 3 movies in one movie. And what ended up coming out of that is, again, it feels like there was so much that was shot and they had to edit it down to this really quick narrative. And I think it's a situation where they played it really, really safe with the characters and made the characters really bland because they needed to make them fit into this world where if you look at the mechanics of what they're actually doing with the world and with the plot, because they knew that they weren't going to have to sustain this over multiple movies, the actual plot and events that are happening here are really fucking interesting. So like Reed Richards dispatches a fleet of flying police cars to round up all the gangs in town and shut them down because he's scared for his like kid that's coming. That's not okay. That's a police state, baby. And he just enabled it. Like major ethical problems there, but we're never going to have to deal with it.
I think the idea is that he's so smart that he solved all of the crimes in the city and then gave them to the police simultaneously. So they did a drug bust. I mean, they're rattling off all these villains. Yeah. They go through the Mole Man. They go through like the Thinker, whatever, the wizard, Diablo.
They cut
And
Malkovich too. He was Red Ghost.
Yeah, they cut him out of it. They fought the Super Ape for a second. Why can't the Thing punch something? Why can't the Thing fight another thing? And why can't we see him hand-to-hand fight somebody?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the Thing's whole thing. He fights the Hulk in the comics. He fights Thor. He fights all these other strong guys. He is the strong man. Have him fight something that can punch back. For once. I don't think we've seen it in any of the movies. I don't think I've ever seen the Thing like have a hand-to-hand combat with somebody.
No, he's never been up against something that is
It's always
similar
Dr.
to
Doom
him.
or the Silver Surfer. Have him fight like a real street level guy.
Or at the very least, have him fight like a giant monster from the Mole Man. Like, give him like a monster that's similarly sized to him. There's that thing, Gru or whatever the fuck its name is that comes out of the ground.
Cover homage.
But allow him, the Mole Man has a bunch of monsters. Don't give him a giant thing to fight. Give him something that's kind of like a more traditional bad guy that just pops up out of the ground. And there you go.
It feels like in condensing all of this and cutting to the chase and really trying to get it out there, they glossed over the fact there's a lot of things that we just know. We know the Human Torch is hot. We know the Thing is strong, whatever. I think we can all come into there knowing that. Mm-hmm. But I still like seeing it. I like seeing the Thing be strong. I like watching the Human Torch be hot and melt stuff. The scene where he sucks up all the fire. I'm like, this is a great take on the Human Torch. I don't know how much of this we've seen. It's very fun. It's very cool. I want to see them doing stuff. I want to see Sue making force fields around it. She makes the jet invisible. Why can't she put a force field around the jet?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, because Sue's whole job in this is pregnant. That's all she is.
That's in this. Another big.
She's pregnant. There's nothing else going on here. She doesn't care about anything else. And you know what? And then at the end, she friggin' dies. You know what she dies of? Trying too hard. Are you fucking kidding me? Can you imagine like being like, oh, Superman died. What happened? Well, he couldn't take a break. He pushed himself. Oh man, he was dehydrated and he hasn't been drinking enough fluids and he tried so hard. He just tried as hard as he could. And then he died. It's like some John Henry stuff, but there's no like big picture to it. Right. There's no big stakes. We just watch her push Galactus. We haven't seen her struggle with anything else. So maybe she can just do this normally, right? Like we don't know what her powers are. She's the strongest one. I'm not surprised she can push Galactus, but just in the context of this movie, it seems like she can do anything. And there's no stakes. There's no nothing. There's no whatever. Like we don't get enough time with them doing their fun power things. They don't even come up with one fun thing for Mr. Fantastic to do power wise. I was like, get us a parachute, get us, a ball, turn into a square and like, bounce off stuff, like do some fun shapes, morph your face to do something. You can't do something where you're entertaining the baby and you try and look funny, or maybe like have an eyeball come out and like look at something else, like have his eyeballs go different directions. In the comics, they do so much fun stuff with him. And in this, all he does is climb things. And then there's a moment where Galactus has him and he starts pulling on him to stretch him. And it's too much. Mr. Fantastic is like, help, his stuff's. It's like, dude, this is all you freaking do. All you do is stretch. And Galactus is like, but what if I stretched you? And that's too much. That's too much. That's his thing. It's like if the Human Torch got put in a hot room by somebody and they turned the AC off in the summer and they're like, take that, Human Torch. And then it really affected him. It'd be like if he got a sunburn. It's crazy. It'd be like, the Thing. And they were like, hey man, can you bench press 600 pounds? It's like, hey, Mr. Fantastic, why don't you stretch for us? Can you stretch that one superpower you have? And he gets pushed to his limits. That's
like
crazy.
If the Hulk got so angry that he gave himself a brain aneurysm and like a vessel ruptured. It
would be like if we had a mission and we were like, oh yeah, Hulk, I'm going to do something that never works against you. We're going to get you angry. That's like the villain's strategy. It's like, I'm going to get you really pissed off. The Thing, I'm going to put you in a situation where you got to be super strong physically, bro.
You know what it is? It does kind of remind me of, all joking aside, in Godzilla -1, where their plan is to basically like sink Godzilla, and somebody in the room stands up and they're like, he lives underwater. Yes. Are we sure we want to try to drown him?
I was thinking about like Briar Rabbit or something where he like tricks people into throwing him in the briar patch. And it's like, oh yeah, his name is Briar Rabbit. why do you think the Briar Patch is going to be a problem for him?
Trust me, bro. It's an ironic nickname.
I know.
You get this rabbit in the Briar Patch, he's fucking dead, dude.
Oh, man. Guess what, Submarine Steve? We're going to take you someplace you really hate. We booked an underwater excursion for you. Submarine Steve is going to hate this. I don't know. I was just like, that's his thing. And he did it too much and he didn't do it good. And I'm just more disheartened by this. Like I did enjoy the movie. I did like it all right, but I'm not satisfied with this at all.
My big takeaway is that with the characters themselves, I'm excited to see the next one. That's always kind of the thing for first movies with Marvel is they never get it exactly right out the gate, but there is a spark of something. I think the spark is there for these characters. I'm really excited to see them in a context where they can have more fun and in a context where they can interact with more characters, where the advantage of these big team things is that everybody has to be a really clear archetype. Otherwise, these don't work. So you get, something where you put Tony Stark, Master Strategist, up against Star-Lord, King of Winging It, and it's funny. But for that to be funny, you have to play both of their angles as hard as you can. So I'm excited for them to be in one of these things where they can be with other characters where we know their personality is a little bit better to see what gets heightened. And then wherever they show up after that, I'm sure it's going to be a much more dialed in version of the character. But that's also weird because I don't know. Tim, I really don't know. It's so clear they're heading to a reboot of the universe after Secret Wars. It's so obvious. There's no way they can afford all these actors anymore. They want to have a version of this world they can start with going forward, where the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and the Avengers all coexist. They've been building to it for forever. There is no way that when they finally do that, they are going to have Chris Evans as Captain America. There's no way that they're still going to have, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, but they are going to have an Iron Man. So they're going to be recasting a lot of these roles. It's going to have to be with younger people who are probably in their like 20s-ish when they relaunch this thing in order to keep it going because of how long it takes to make these things. Do you think it's still going to be this team of 4 people? Because I kind of don't. I don't think there's any fucking way that they signed on like 50-year-old Reed Richards to be the main Reed Richards in the Marvel Universe. He's going to be 60 years old by the time he can do an X-Men and Fantastic Four movie.
Really?
There's no way it's still him. It's got to be somebody else. I think they used this casting for this team as shorthand to give them a little bit more weight on screen alongside the heroes that we already have established. How do you make Reed Richards feel like just as major a player as these people that we have 15 to 20 years of memories with? You cast an A-list actor. That's Pedro right now. He's like the biggest name. He's in everything. So I think they cast Pedro as Reed so that he would have a little bit more gravitas next to Benedict Cumberbatch. But I think coming out of Secret Wars, I don't think it's any of these guys anymore. I think it's probably people who are on like Netflix teen shows right now and are going to be like 23, 24 by the time the X-Men relaunch rolls around.
That's incredible. That's interesting. I didn't think it would be that soon, but that makes sense. That makes sense. I also, they recast Rhodey.
Yeah.
Or like they didn't even say anything about it. And like, we're cool with it, Like, yeah. I don't think it would be insane if they make a movie and then they make another movie and it's a different actor. Mm-hmm. I think that happens a lot. It's a continuity thing, so it's a little weird, I guess, but because it's dependent on all these other movies. But I also think it happens. And I don't think it would really destroy anybody. I think the casting thing is weird and the stakes are very high for the casting because they've done such S-tier casting in the past. Mm-hmm. And even the casting that isn't great is still like pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. But even I loved your description of like Tony Stark, strategist, captain of winging it. What are their things? Sue Storm shows up. What's your stereotype of Sue Storm? I'm going to have a baby. It's like, okay, great. So Tony's here. He's ready to fight. Thor's here. And Sue Storm is pregnant. So great. So what do we do with that?
Dude, it really sucks
we have the Human Torch. What's the Human Torch into? Well, he loves dialects. He's going to decipher a language while Captain America comes up with a plan. What's the Thing going to do? The Thing is in his old neighborhood buying groceries.
Yeah.
There's a bodega down there he loves. He can't get enough of it. It's the only thing he does. He's walking around there with brown paper bags, and then he's walking all the way back to there's no way the produce in that neighborhood is top tier.
No.
0% chance.
It's not about
He's buying
that, Tim.
moldy bodega vegetables and bringing them back to the tower just so Herbie can throw them out in secret and replace them with real vegetables to spare his feelings.
Oh my God. You're so right. I'm so bummed that Sue didn't get more than just being a mom. What she did have is pretty much just what Vanessa Kirby brought to it. I've been on Team Vanessa Kirby since Hobbs and Shaw. I think she's a star. She has so much presence on screen.
Yeah.
If she didn't have so much presence, I think this character would have been super forgettable. And I don't know that literally anybody, Tim. I went back and read a bunch of Fantastic Four comics last year. Nobody has ever bothered to make Sue an interesting character outside of the bounds of being a wife or a mother. That's the only thing that anybody's ever willing to do with a character. It's infuriating. This is a person who is right up there with Reed in terms of being the smartest people in the universe. Honestly, my favorite takes on it tend to be when they zag and say, you know what, Sue is the smartest one, Reed is the second smartest. And the difference between them is that Reed is more morally flexible, which is the reason that he's more willing to do some of these things. I like that more just because it at least empowers her with something. It's infuriating that, like, you know, we finally get this character. Everybody had hyped up like, oh, she's debatably the lead character of the movie. Like, you're going to love Sue in this movie. And it's like, sure enough, all of her motivation is baby based. And it's like, yeah, can that be a real thing? Yes, absolutely. But it's impossible to take that at face value and separate it from the greater context of movies overall, where this happens to female characters all the time. And it just makes me wish that they had approached it when they write these things. Like, there's a scene in the end where the guys, it's like a 3-minute baby riff where the guys were all trying to figure out how to get this car seat into the Fantastic Car.
Yeah.
It's a wet fart of a scene because they don't
way too late in the movie.
Way too late in the movie.
Way too
they
late.
Do not set it up enough. And Sue's just sitting back, holding Franklin and watching them do it. Like, can you believe these boys? Reed has undergone change in the movie where he has learned to love Franklin and he's learned to take on the responsibility of being a dad. Let Reed be the one holding the baby. Let the dad hold the baby one time. Let him hold it. Let Sue be one of the ones who is trying to coach Johnny and Ben on how to get this car seat in, and she's in there helping. Just flip the script one time. But no, it's always got to be her holding the baby.
She is kind of team mom. She brings the orange slices for everybody else.
Sure.
She is the most powerful one that seems very underutilized in general. I mean, in Civil War, in the comics, she sided with Captain America against Reed.
Loved that. That's at least a moment of agency.
I do think that is something where she is like about the family. And then when she feels the need to go against the family, that is compelling to me. So if you're laying that kind of groundwork for something, you can do that. But also in this, it's just baby. It's baby. It's not about the family. It's not about her siblings. It's not about the Thing. It's not about the Human Torch. You know, it's just, I don't know. She just has nothing going on in this movie. And if she wasn't Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm would be nothing. I think the same about Pedro Pascal is like, this is a flaccid performance as Mr. Fantastic. I was wondering, I don't even know if this is an interesting discussion at all. Is he on the spectrum? I think it'd be more interesting if maybe they made him more socially incompetent, but more intelligent. Even if they just made him one of, you know, like we've all met people that are like so smart that they can't really do other stuff.
Right.
I think that would be interesting. But that's not really what they did. They still had him, after a mission, lead a press conference where he tells the world it was all of you or our baby. That's insane, right? That's illogical. That makes no sense at all. And my logic with if he does have some sort of a diagnosis, or even not even a diagnosis, if the people around him knew him at all, they would know that he is incapable of leading a press conference.
Yes.
Right? They would step up and take the mic away. They would say, no, Reed, don't worry about it. Johnny would step up and want to talk to everybody. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe in this, the Thing is very gregarious and he wants to talk to everybody. You know what? Maybe Sue Storm is the real leader of this crew. And she's the one who handles the press conferences. You know, she's pregnant, so she can't. That's the rules that Marvel's created. She's a woman. She's not allowed to have a background. She's got a baby. That's enough for her. But hypothetically, James Gunn could make her speak to the audience assembled. Like, why would they set him up for failure when they know he's bad at that? But also, have they established he's bad at that? They just could have given him anything. And that's funny. It's funny to not pick up on social cues.
Well, pick also another option if you do want to have him fuck up that press conference, when you've also shown that he is Mr. Fantastic. He leads like a science show. Like, he basically is Bill Nye in this universe as well. Let him fuck up the press conference because he's so affected by what just happened. And like, he normally would be able to handle it, but he's so moved, and they really sprung these cameras on them when they got back, that he's still rattled from what happened. And then he's like, fuck, I really messed that up. Like, and kind of has to do damage control for it. It's just all rushed, dude.
Also on that show, he's like, want to see something blow up? And I'm like, I think it's more fun if he's not aware of that. I feel like we've seen that trope before, but he's doing a kid's show and he's the least interesting part of the kid's show is at least a bit. That's at least a choice with him, and having the torch come on and just go, who wants to see me flame on? And just all the kids lose their shit, or the Thing just like picks something up, or even Sue Storm does something cool. Like, they all have, the rest of the group has to do something cool to compensate for how lame Mr. Fantastic is. I don't know. There was something I wanted to do this with you. A little spoilery for Superman, right?
Yeah.
At the end, we're comparing and contrasting this. After our discussion, I will say I like the Mole Man in this. The Mole Man guy was pretty cool.
Walter Hauser,
very fun. Breath of fresh air. I'm going to list characters from Superman, and you tell me when you would take a Fantastic Four character over that character in a future movie.
Before, Tim, we're starting to run low on time, so just one last aside that I do want to put in. I did overall like this movie. There's a lot of stuff that I really liked about this movie that we are not going to have time to talk about on this pod today. So with that said,
I didn't hate this movie. I didn't hate this movie. In hindsight, I feel like, you know, it was a lot of stuff. Superman.
I would take, I mean, look, I like, God,
just, you know what? No thinking. Would you rather see Superman or anyone from the Fantastic Four movie?
I would rather.
So we got a sequel.
I want more Fantastic Four. I'm a bad person to ask this too, because I do want more Fantastic Four. I think they're going to nail it next time. I think there's enough here. I think they got enough of like the bad first draft out that I think the next time we see them, it's really going to hit.
Okay. Potential spoilers for Superman. I'll do this game with myself. I would rather see Superman. I would rather see Lois Lane. I would rather see Lex Luthor than any of these other characters, except maybe Mole Man. I'd rather see Mole Man. I'd rather see Hawkgirl. I'd rather see Green Lantern. I'd definitely rather see Supergirl. Engineer. That's a toss-up. I don't know if I need more Engineer.
This isn't a fair fight because you're also throwing it to side characters.
I'd rather see Jimmy Olsen again.
Hold on. You're throwing it to side characters who are allowed to be fun because they don't have to carry it for a long stretch of the movie. It's the Kramer problem. It's the Joey problem. You don't want a spinoff that focuses entirely on the side character. They are only good because you get them in a small dose. So I think you lost me at Hawkgirl because I thought Hawkgirl was really fun, but it's like we got really nothing from that character outside of that it's funny when she screams and it was cool when she dropped that dictator. But like in general, I don't think that's a fair fight.
I describe Hawkgirl and then describe Invisible Woman and come back to me with which one's more deep.
That's not fair because
that's so fair.
It's not so fair
because Hawkgirl has a thing. We saw her for 10 minutes and she has a thing. She dropped a dictator out of the sky and murdered a dictator. She doesn't give a fuck. She's reading the newspaper. She doesn't care about any of this stuff. She's flippant. She's hot-headed. She's way more interesting than any member of the Fantastic Four.
But she doesn't have to carry dramatic weight over the course of a movie. She doesn't have to like carry most of the movie. You don't have to watch Hawkgirl deliberating over what to do with Galactus.
Okay, then I could at least say Superman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific. I think those all fit your criteria of like people that you need to hold some.
They're all better. Is that what you want to hear?
Green Lantern. I think there's more to him, but I would much rather see Green Lantern. Metamorpho even. Metamorpho's kind of boring, but at least he kind of has a thing.
It was a
He
weird
cares about his kid. He's kind of like timid. I was kind of surprised to see him show up at the end.
Wow,
He
you know what?
likes
That is
the Green
funny.
Lantern's ideas.
It is funny that Superman dropped in a character that is male and was baby oriented. And it's like, you know what? Breath of fucking fresh air. Finally, dude. Finally.
His
Meanwhile,
thing is that he has a baby.
Lois Lane, awesome character. So good. Not a baby in sight.
Metamorpho has a personality, though. The Green Lantern talks about the Justice Gang, and he's like, "That's an incredible name." And it's like, I get that. I understand what you're saying with the Kramer problem. Like Mole Man definitely benefits from the Kramer problem. That dude just comes in and is funny and nice and interesting and just gets to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't give us one line about what the Human Torch likes. You can't give us a line about what the Thing's into. I don't know. I think comparing this to James Gunn, one of the things James Gunn does so well is the character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in and he fleshed out a bunch of these characters. Even these minor characters have things and personalities. The next time we're going to see the Fantastic Four is in Doomsday. If you put Shang-Chi with the Fantastic Four, I can't tell you how anyone in the Fantastic Four would interact with him.
That's interesting because we also haven't seen enough Shang-Chi yet.
I haven't seen enough of Shang-Chi.
It especially hurts because, I did a whole Incredibles episode while Tim was out, and the Incredibles absolutely dunks the idea of a Fantastic Four movie.
Yes.
It does it so well that it is an embarrassment to every other Fantastic Four movie.
It's the best Fantastic Four movie is The Incredibles.
Not even close. That's the take I laid out there for the entire movie. That's why I dropped it on release day for Fantastic Four. And like the fact that no one seems to have bothered to go back and use that as a template for what to do. If you gave me all the same production design and stuff from this Fantastic Four, all of the world that they created, even the exact plot points that are in this movie, but you lifted more of the characterization from the way that they did things in The Incredibles, and you lifted the way the characters interact with each other from The Incredibles, this is a god tier movie. You can even use the same actors, Tim. It's just
you could.
This is boring characters and a great plot, where Superman is great characters and kind of a boring plot.
Yes. And I definitely prefer good characters. Like, what if we get a scene at the end where Franklin is a kid, he's like a toddler, he's doing a school play, and they have to beat the Taskmaster, they have to beat the Wizard in time to get to the school play. And also Reed's distracted and then misses it because he's doing a scientific thing. Immediately it's a family thing, you know?
I'm so mad thinking about that.
Like, that's Incredibles.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff is
Jesus.
like insert family to it. There's no family element in this, really.
Well,
there's nothing to contrast with, but whatever. Fantastic Four sucked. Go Superman. Let's get out of here.
No, hey, at the end of the
I'm
day,
being too harsh. I liked Fantastic Four. There's just so many more things to make fun of with Fantastic Four. It's more fun to do that.
But at the end of the day, I still bought the Fantastic Car popcorn bucket. Listeners, what did you think of the Fantastic Four? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We will be back here again next week talking about something. We'll see you then. And until then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.